something massive is lurking beyond Pluto, and NASA did not expect it. For decades, scientists believed the edge of our solar system was quiet, cold, and mostly empty. A frozen boundary, a dark limit where nothing important happened. Pluto stood there like a lonely marker at the end of everything we knew. But that idea is now collapsing. Beyond Pluto, something strange is happening. Objects are moving in ways that should not be possible. Invisible forces appear to be shaping entire regions of space. Patterns are forming where there should be chaos. And deep in that darkness, there are signs that something large may be hiding, something powerful enough to influence worlds from billions of kilometers away. This is not science fiction. This is real data. And it is forcing scientists to question how our solar system was formed and whether we truly understand the forces that control it. Pluto was discovered in 1930. For a long time, it was considered the ninth planet. It marked the outer edge of the solar system. Beyond it, there was nothing but emptiness. That was the accepted picture for generations. But even early observations hinted that something was off. Pluto was smaller than expected. Its orbit was unusual. It did not behave like the other planets. Over time, astronomers began to suspect that Pluto was not alone. There had to be more objects out there, hidden in the dark. Then came a major shift. In the early 1990s, scientists started detecting faint, distant objects beyond Pluto. These were not planets in the traditional sense. They were icy remnants, leftovers from the birth of the solar system. Small, dim, and incredibly far away. This region became known as the Kuiper Belt. It changed everything. Instead of a clean edge, the solar system suddenly had a vast outer zone filled with debris. Thousands of objects, maybe millions, some of them nearly as large as Pluto, some with strange shapes, some with orbits that stretched far beyond what anyone expected. Pluto was no longer the edge. It was just one member of a much larger family. But the real shock came later. In 2015, NASA sent a spacecraft called New Horizons to explore Pluto up close. This mission took nearly 10 years to reach its target. It traveled across billions of kilometers of empty space, carrying the hopes of scientists who wanted to see this distant world for the first time. What it found was completely unexpected. Pluto was not a dead, frozen rock. It was active, complex. It had mountains made of ice, vast plains with no craters, suggesting recent geological activity, even signs of a thin atmosphere. This was shocking on its own, but the bigger revelation was what came after. New Horizons did not stop at Pluto. It kept going, deeper into the outer solar system, into a region that had barely been explored. And what it started to reveal was far more mysterious. Objects beyond Pluto were not randomly scattered. Many of them followed unusual paths. Their orbits were stretched, tilted, and clustered in ways that could not be easily explained. It was as if something unseen was guiding them, something massive, something distant. Scientists began to notice patterns. These distant objects were not moving independently. Their paths were strangely aligned. That should not happen by chance. Over millions of years, gravity should scatter them in all directions. But that was not what the data showed. Instead, the outer solar system looked organized, controlled, almost as if an invisible hand was shaping it. This is where things start to get unsettling. To explain these patterns, some scientists proposed a bold idea. There might be another planet out there, a large one, far beyond Pluto, too distant and too dark to be seen directly, but powerful enough to influence the motion of other objects. This idea became known as Planet 9. It has not been confirmed. No telescope has captured a clear image of it, but the evidence is growing, and the implications are massive. If such a planet exists, it would rewrite our understanding of the solar system. It would mean that we have been missing a major piece of our cosmic neighborhood all along. And it raises an even deeper question. If something this large can remain hidden for so long, what else could be out there? To make sense of all this, scientists have turned to deeper theories. Not just about planets and orbits, but about the fundamental structure of the universe itself. This is where thinkers like Greene come in. Greene is known for exploring the hidden layers of reality. He studies how space, time, and gravity behave at the most fundamental level. And when discoveries like these emerge, they are not just about new objects in space. They challenge the very rules we use to describe the universe. Because if the outer solar system behaves in ways we cannot fully explain, then something in our understanding is incomplete. Maybe our models of gravity need refinement. Maybe there are influences we have not yet detected. Or maybe, just maybe, the universe is far more complex than we ever imagined. The truth is, the region beyond Pluto is no longer a quiet frontier. It is one of the most mysterious and active areas of scientific discovery today. Every new observation raises more questions. Every new object adds another piece to a puzzle that is far from complete. And the deeper we look, the stranger it gets. In this video, you will discover what NASA has actually found beyond Pluto. The strange objects that defy explanation, the hidden patterns that suggest something massive is out there, and the theory that could change everything we know about our place in the solar system. This is not just about distant rocks in space. This is about a mystery unfolding at the edge of our cosmic home. And by the end, you will see why scientists are both excited and unsettled by what they are discovering. Welcome to the channel. Subscribe now, because the truth out there is far more shocking than anyone expected. For a long time, Pluto was seen as the final marker of the solar system, a frozen world sitting alone in the dark. Beyond it, there was supposed to be almost nothing, just empty space stretching endlessly outward. That picture was simple, clean, and completely wrong. Pluto is not the edge. It is part of something much larger, a vast region known as the Kuiper Belt. This region begins just beyond Neptune and stretches billions of kilometers into deep space. It is filled with ancient debris left over from the birth of the solar system. These are not planets in the usual sense. They are icy fragments, remnants that never came together to form full worlds. At least, that is what scientists once believed. Early models predicted that the Kuiper Belt would be a scattered mess, a loose collection of small objects, randomly distributed, with no real structure, just leftover material drifting in the cold. But when astronomers started to observe it more closely, the reality was very different. The Kuiper Belt is not random. It is organized in strange and unexpected ways. There are thousands of known objects out there. Many are small, but some are surprisingly large. Pluto is just one of them. Others, like Eris and Haumea, are similar in size and just as complex. These are known as dwarf planets, and they are not rare. Some of these objects spin rapidly. Some are shaped like flattened eggs. One of them, Haumea, rotates so fast that it stretches into an elongated form, almost like it is being pulled apart. That should not happen easily in such a cold and distant region. Even more surprising are the patterns in their orbits. Instead of moving in completely random paths, many of these objects follow specific routes around the Sun. Some are locked in gravitational relationships with Neptune. Others travel on tilted paths, far above and below the flat plane where most planets orbit. And then there are the extreme ones. A few objects travel on paths that take them incredibly far from the Sun. Then they swing back in long, stretched orbits that take thousands of years to complete. These paths are not easy to explain. They suggest that something has disturbed them in the past, something strong enough to reshape their motion. The deeper scientists looked, the more complex it became. The Kuiper Belt is not just a ring of debris, it is a dynamic system, a place where gravity is constantly shaping and reshaping the motion of objects. Collisions happen, orbits shift, patterns emerge where there should be chaos, and here is the unsettling part. This entire region exists far beyond where the solar system was once thought to end. Pluto is not a boundary, it is a doorway. Beyond it lies a zone that is still largely unexplored, a region filled with hidden structures, strange movements, and unanswered questions. The further out scientists look, the less predictable things become. The solar system does not fade quietly into darkness. It transforms into something far more chaotic. And within that chaos, there are signs that something much bigger may be influencing everything from the shadows. Far beyond Pluto, there are objects that do not behave the way they should. Their motion breaks expectations. Their paths stretch across distances that are difficult to explain. And the deeper scientists look, the more unsettling the pattern becomes. One of the most mysterious examples is Sedna. Sedna is not like Pluto. It does not follow a stable, nearly circular path. Its orbit is extreme. It swings incredibly far from the Sun, then slowly returns, tracing a long and narrow ellipse through space. At its farthest point, it travels so deep into the darkness that the Sun becomes just another bright star in the sky. One full orbit of Sedna takes more than 11,000 years. That alone is unusual. But the real mystery lies in how it moves. According to current gravitational models, objects in the outer solar system should be influenced mainly by the known planets, especially Neptune. Over time, their orbits should either stabilize or scatter randomly due to gravitational interactions. Sedna does neither. Its orbit is detached. It stays far beyond the reach of Neptune's gravity. That means Neptune cannot be responsible for shaping its path. And yet, something clearly did. This creates a serious problem. If no known planet can explain Sedna's motion, then something else must have influenced it. Something large, something distant, something that has not been directly observed. Sedna is not alone. Several other distant objects share similar characteristics. Their orbits are stretched, their paths are tilted, and most importantly, they seem to cluster in a specific direction. This should not happen by chance. In a random system, these objects would point in all directions over time. Their orbits would spread out evenly. But instead, they appear grouped, aligned in a way that suggests a hidden force is guiding them. Scientists began to notice this pattern only recently. It was not obvious at first. These objects are faint, difficult to detect. Each discovery added a small piece to the puzzle. Then the pattern became impossible to ignore. It was as if something was pulling on them from afar, not strongly enough to drag them inward, but enough to shape their paths over millions of years. A slow, steady influence that leaves a clear signature in their motion. This is where the tension rises, because in space, motion does not lie. Every orbit tells a story. Every path reveals the forces acting behind the scenes, and when multiple objects show the same strange behavior, it points to something real, something hidden. There are other strange details as well. Some of these distant objects never come close to the inner solar system at all. They remain isolated, moving in cold, distant regions where interactions should be minimal, and yet their orbits still show signs of disturbance. This suggests that whatever is influencing them is not a one-time event, it is ongoing, a constant presence. A gravitational effect that continues to shape the outer solar system even now. Scientists have tried to explain this using known physics, passing stars, ancient collisions, even the possibility that the solar system formed in a dense star cluster long ago. Each idea explains part of the mystery, but none explain everything. The simplest explanation may also be the most disturbing. There could be something out there, massive, invisible, moving slowly through the darkness, quietly controlling the motion of objects that lie far beyond Pluto. And if that is true, then the outer solar system is not just a collection of distant debris. It is a system being shaped by a force that has yet to reveal itself. As these strange patterns became clearer, scientists reached a bold conclusion. The outer solar system might be under the influence of an unseen planet. Not a small object, not a piece of debris, a real planet, massive, distant, and hidden in the darkness. This idea is known as Planet 9. It did not come from a direct discovery. No telescope has captured its image. No spacecraft has flown past it. Its existence was not announced with a photograph, but with a pattern. A quiet signal hidden in the motion of distant worlds. The key evidence came from orbital clustering. Several objects beyond Pluto were found to follow paths that pointed in the same direction. Their orbits were stretched in similar ways. Their closest approach to the sun happened in a shared region of space. This alignment should not happen randomly. Over time, gravity should scatter these objects in all directions, but that is not what scientists observed. Instead, the orbits stayed grouped, stable, almost as if something was holding them in place. Two astronomers, Konstantin Batygin and Michael Brown, studied this pattern in detail. They ran simulations. They tested different scenarios. One explanation kept standing out above the rest. A large planet far beyond Pluto could create exactly this effect. Its gravity would act slowly over millions of years. It would not pull objects inward. It would guide them, shape their paths, keep them aligned in a consistent pattern. From this, scientists began to estimate what this hidden planet might be like. It could be 5 to 10 times the mass of Earth, large enough to dominate its region, but still far smaller than gas giants like Jupiter. Its orbit would be extremely distant, hundreds of billions of kilometers from the sun, so far away that sunlight would barely reach it. 1 year on this planet could last 10,000 to 20,000 Earth years. It would move slowly, almost silently, taking centuries just to shift slightly in the sky. And that makes it very hard to detect. Even the most powerful telescopes struggle to see objects that faint and distant. Planet 9, if it exists, would reflect almost no light. It would blend into the background of space, hidden among countless stars. But even without seeing it, its presence may already be written across the outer solar system, the clustered orbits, the tilted paths, the extreme trajectories of objects like Sedna. All of these could be signs of its influence. Not direct proof, but strong evidence pointing in one direction. There are even more subtle clues. Some distant objects appear to orbit in the opposite direction compared to the main plane of the solar system. This is rare, difficult to explain with known planets alone. But simulations show that a distant, massive planet could flip orbits over long periods of time. This adds another layer to the mystery, because it suggests that the outer solar system is not just influenced, it is being reshaped. And here is where the tension deepens. If Planet 9 is real, then it has been there the entire time. While humanity studied the planets, while spacecraft explored nearby worlds, while telescopes scanned the skies, a massive planet could have been moving quietly in the darkness just beyond our reach, unseen, unconfirmed, but not uninvolved. Its gravity may already be guiding objects at the edge of our solar system. And the question becomes harder to ignore. Are we already feeling the effects of a world we have never even seen? When New Horizons finally reached Pluto in 2015, scientists expected to see a frozen, inactive world, a place locked in time, a surface covered in ancient craters, unchanged for billions of years. That is not what they found. Pluto was alive in a way no one predicted. Its surface showed vast plains of nitrogen ice, smooth and almost completely free of impact craters. That meant something had reshaped it recently, on a geological timescale. In space, that kind of smooth surface is rare. It suggests ongoing activity. There were mountains rising several kilometers high, not made of rock, but of water ice as hard as stone in that extreme cold. These mountains stood sharp and young, with no signs of erosion. That meant they had formed relatively recently. Even more surprising was a region shaped like a giant heart, bright, smooth, and slowly moving. Scientists realized that this area was part of a massive glacier. Ice was flowing across Pluto's surface very slowly, driven by internal processes that should not exist on such a small and distant world. Pluto also had a thin atmosphere. Layers of haze stretched high above its surface, blue in color, soft and glowing. This atmosphere expands when Pluto moves closer to the sun and freezes when it moves away. A dynamic cycle happening billions of kilometers from any significant heat source. This was not a dead world. It was active, complex, and still evolving, but the mission did not end there. After Pluto, New Horizons continued deeper into the Kuiper Belt. It targeted another object, much smaller and far more distant. This object was known as Arrokoth. When the images came back, scientists were stunned again. Arrokoth did not look like a typical asteroid or comet. It looked like two objects gently fused together, a contact binary. Its shape resembled a snowman, with two lobes connected by a narrow neck. This structure suggested that it formed through a slow and gentle process, not violent collisions. That was unexpected. Most models predicted that objects in the early solar system formed through chaotic impacts, but Arrokoth showed evidence of a calm and orderly formation. It preserved a record of the earliest stages of planetary building. Its surface was also extremely smooth, very few craters, very little damage. It looked almost untouched since its formation over 4 billion years ago. This made it a time capsule, and it hinted that the outer solar system may have experienced a very different history than the inner regions. Other observations added to the mystery. Some Kuiper Belt objects showed unusual colors. Deep red surfaces caused by complex organic molecules altered by radiation over long periods. These materials may be similar to the building blocks of life, frozen in deep space. There were also signs of unexpected spins and rotations. Some objects rotated rapidly. Others tumbled in unstable ways. Their shapes were irregular, stretched, and sometimes flattened. Each discovery added detail, but also confusion. The outer solar system was not quiet. It was diverse, active, and far more complex than anyone had predicted. Instead of answering questions, New Horizons created new ones. How can such small objects remain active for so long? Why do some surfaces appear young while others remain ancient? Why do formation patterns differ so dramatically from earlier models? And most importantly, what hidden forces shaped all of this? Because as the data kept coming in, one thing became clear. The deeper humanity looks into the outer solar system, the less it behaves like a simple extension of what lies closer to the sun. It starts to feel like a different system entirely, and that raises a deeper problem. If these distant regions follow rules that are not fully understood, then the models used to explain the solar system may be incomplete, which means the mystery is not just about distant objects. It is about the limits of human understanding itself. These discoveries do not just change how scientists see Pluto or distant icy objects. They reach much deeper. They begin to shake the foundation of how the entire solar system is understood. For a long time, the story of our solar system seemed clear. A cloud of gas and dust collapsed under gravity. The sun formed at the center. The remaining materials slowly came together to form planets. Over time, everything settled into stable orbits. Order replaced chaos. But the outer solar system does not fully fit this story. Objects like Sedna should not exist in their current paths if that simple model were complete. Their orbits suggest past disturbances, long-term influences, forces that are not fully accounted for. Even the structure of the Kuiper Belt challenges expectations. It is not just leftover debris. It is shaped, organized in ways that hint at hidden interactions over billions of years. This is where things move beyond simple planetary science. This enters the realm of cosmology. Cosmology tries to explain how structures form on every scale, from planets to galaxies, from small systems to the entire universe. And one of its most important lessons is this: small anomalies matter. A tiny deviation, a slight irregularity, a pattern that should not exist. These can point to something much bigger. In the past, small anomalies have led to major discoveries. The orbit of Mercury did not match predictions. That problem helped confirm Einstein's theory of general relativity. Tiny fluctuations in cosmic radiation revealed the structure of the early universe. Now, the outer solar system may be presenting a similar situation. The strange orbits, the unexpected activity, the clustering of distant objects. These are not just random details. They could be clues, signals that something in our current understanding is incomplete. Thinkers like Greene focus on exactly these kinds of problems. He explores how the laws of physics behave under extreme conditions. He looks for gaps between theory and observation, and the region beyond Pluto is full of those gaps. If a hidden planet exists, it changes the map of our solar system. But it also raises deeper questions. How did such a planet form so far away? Why does it follow such an unusual orbit? And why was it not detected earlier? Some scientists have even considered more radical ideas. Perhaps gravity behaves slightly differently at extreme distances. Perhaps there are influences from outside the solar system that shaped its outer regions during its early history. Passing stars, interactions with other stellar systems, even the possibility that our sun formed in a crowded cluster where close encounters were common. Each idea stretches the limits of current models. And then there is an even more unsettling thought. The outer solar system is still largely unexplored. Telescopes can only detect the brightest and closest objects. Spacecraft have visited only a tiny fraction of this region. Most of it remains hidden in darkness. This means the picture humanity has right now is incomplete. There could be more objects, larger ones, stranger ones, entire structures that have not yet been observed, patterns that have not yet been recognized. The known objects may only be the visible part of a much larger system. A system that operates quietly far from the sun, where detection is difficult and surprises are more likely. And this leads to a deeper realization. Humanity tends to build models based on what can be seen. But in space, what cannot be seen often matters just as much. The discoveries beyond Pluto suggest that the solar system is not fully mapped, not fully understood, and possibly not even typical. It may be more complex, more dynamic, and more mysterious than anyone expected. And if that is true, then the boundary of knowledge is not at Pluto. It is much further out, hidden in a region where even now, something unknown may still be shaping everything from the shadows. Beyond Pluto, there is no quiet ending. There is no empty darkness. There is a region filled with motion, patterns, and unanswered questions. What was once believed to be the edge of the solar system is now one of its most mysterious zones, a place where objects move in ways that challenge known physics, a place where hidden forces may be shaping entire orbits from far beyond human reach. NASA did not just find distant ice and rock. It uncovered a system that does not behave the way it should. Active worlds, strange alignments, clues that point toward something larger, something unseen. And the deeper scientists look, the more the mystery grows. Every discovery has opened new questions. Why are these objects moving this way? What shaped their paths? And most importantly, what is still out there that has not been found yet? The idea is hard to ignore now. The solar system may still be hiding something massive, something powerful, something that has been there all along, just beyond the limits of observation. And this changes everything, because it means humanity does not fully understand its own cosmic neighborhood. Not yet, the map is incomplete. The story is still being written. Right now, telescopes are scanning the sky. Data is being analyzed. Scientists are searching for answers in the cold darkness beyond Pluto. And with every passing year, the chances of a major discovery grow. A new planet, a new force, or something even more unexpected. A breakthrough could come at any moment. And when it does, it will not just add one more object to a list. It will change how humanity sees its place in the universe. If this journey into the unknown fascinates you, take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel. There is much more to uncover, and the next discovery might be closer than anyone thinks. Out there, in the silent distance, something is waiting to be found.